Hey, whatever happened to that right-wing crusade around free speech on college campuses? Because there's a new attack on free speech, and the right is nowhere to be found. In fact, many of them seem to be celebrating it. But we need to start with NYU's commencement ceremony on Wednesday, where student speaker Logan Rozos used his time on stage to say this.
I've been freaking out a lot about this speech, honestly. And as I search my heart today in addressing you all, my moral and political commitments guide me to say that the only thing that is appropriate to say in this time and to a group this large is a recognition of the atrocities currently happening in Palestine. I want to say that the genocide currently occurring is supported politically and militarily by the United States, is paid for by our tax dollars, and has been live streamed to our phones for the past 18 months. And that I do not wish to speak only to my own politics today, but to speak for all people of conscience, and all people who feel the moral injury of this atrocity. And I want to say that I condemn this genocide and complicity in this genocide.
Now, what's wrong with that? You can totally disagree. I think you're wrong for disagreeing with that sentiment, but it's a free country, or so I thought. Now, in response to outrage from the right and pro-Israel groups, NYU apologized for his speech, and they are denying him his diploma. Reading here from ABC7 in Chicago, in a statement, NYU spokesperson John Beckman apologized for the speech and accused the student of misusing his platform to express his personal and one-sided political views. He lied about the speech he was going to deliver and violated the commitment he made to comply with our rules, Beckman added. The university is withholding his diploma while we pursue disciplinary actions. One-sided political views. Would you have been happier if he said, and also, I want to thank the people who support genocide. Thank you for being here. Your concerns are valid. Treating what's happening in Gaza as a partisan political issue only furthers the violence. The death toll in Gaza has reached at least 53,000, and Netanyahu has made it clear that the Israeli government and the IDF are going to destroy all of Gaza. At this point, if you see that as a partisan or divisive issue, you're the problem, not somebody condemning it. And to go back to the start, we've heard from the right for years that free speech on college campuses is under attack. They've claimed that all speech, even the most inflammatory and offensive, must be protected on college campuses. Now, they would always make that case when it applied to something the right was saying, and the way the right has covered this has been completely inverted. Take a look at this clip from OAN.
The student used this opportunity for a really divisive political agenda, and to see my fellow peers as well as the faculty members, administration, all clapping and supporting him, that was extremely disheartening and really hurtful as a student, as someone else who also graduated.
There were plenty of times in that speech where he stood, he said what he said, he paused. There were plenty of times where they could have said, no, this wasn't your speech, you got to get off the stage, but nobody did anything.
Now that anchor, Stella Inger Escobedo, I checked her social media profiles and it's a lot of pro-Israel sentiment. And she is Jewish. Of course, it can be a complicated issue for people who are Jewish or have strong ties to Israel. None of that, in my opinion, justifies celebrating what the IDF has been doing. But I'm sure many of us know people who are Jewish or have family in Israel and don't see it exactly the same way as we do. But generally, at the very least, and in my experience, most of them hate Netanyahu and what he is doing. But that's not what's happening here. She very clearly supports NYU cracking down on this student for his free speech, which makes clips like this even funnier.
My parents, I was a little girl when we left. We were 7 years old. And they tell me that, they brought me to this country to give me a better life and opportunity and freedom of speech. That's the most important thing.
And I checked many social media accounts for prominent right-wing figures and media pundits who spent the last several years complaining about free speech on college campuses, or in their mind, the lack thereof. Did any of them object to this? No. If you found one, please leave a comment below, because I am curious to see if anybody objects to this. But on this issue specifically, it seems like the Barry Weisses of the world, the Ben Shapiros of the world, people who made it their brand for years to support free speech on college campuses, are nowhere to be found on this issue. So if you can find even one who have repeatedly spoken out about the arrests of activists on campus, the crackdowns on protests, and this incident, I'd love to see it. But until then, I'm not going to hold my breath. And if there is one of those people that you can find, I'll do a video about it. So if you can like this video and subscribe, you help keep this channel going, and I can't thank you enough. Thanks for watching.